Archangel Michael says, "Tonight only." God just broke heaven's final seal and released a huge financial miracle check scroll with your name written in shining stars. Open it now before the angels take it back forever. God has torn open the last sacred seal in heaven, and with hands full of divine glory, He has released a miracle check scroll written in golden letters, glowing like the stars, and bearing your name, sealed in the light of eternity. This scroll carries blessings wrapped in mercy, answers hidden in divine timing, and breakthroughs you didn't even know you needed. The angels have been sent to deliver it, and their wings move faster than the winds of the earth. But this window will not stay open long. Heaven's gates are wide for just this moment. The miracle scroll calls to your heart. Your name sparkles upon it. Open it with your faith before the angels carry it back to the throne forever. Type 2323 if you agree. There are moments when the world feels heavy on our shoulders, when the nights seem endless and hope flickers like a fading candle, but even in those moments, there is a whisper that flows through the soul, soft as morning dew and radiant like the sun that rises after every storm. That whisper is God calling you back into His embrace, reminding you that He has never left your side, not even once. He saw every tear you shed when no one was watching. He held your hand when you were too weary to lift it. And tonight, He is calling your name from the scroll of miracles, asking you to believe again, to trust again, to breathe in the truth that you are not forgotten. So many have walked through deserts of silence, praying with cracked voices and trembling hands, wondering if their cries ever reached the skies. But what they didn't see was the mighty hand of God moving behind the veil, shifting oceans and shaking mountains just to create the path that would lead you here, to this moment, where heaven's scroll has been opened with your destiny inked in light. Every moment you spent in quiet surrender was never wasted. Every time you chose to love when it hurt, to give when you were empty, and to trust when you were scared, those were the moments God counted as seeds for this very harvest. You were not born to live in constant fear or brokenness. You were not created to dwell in shadows of shame or prisons of regret. You were made in the image of a God whose love cannot be measured, whose grace cannot be contained, and whose promises do not expire. His love is not just a quiet comfort but a roaring fire that burns away doubt, heals every wound, and lifts the weary into wholeness. Tonight, He reaches out with open arms, not to judge you, not to measure your worth by your flaws, but to remind you that you are still His child, and no mistake you've made can unwrite the name He has written on that heavenly check scroll. Type 1111 if you trust in God. There are some battles you never thought you'd survive, but you did. There were days you didn't know how to get out of bed, how to face the world, or how to speak when your soul was tired, but you still stood up, and that strength was not yours alone. That was Jesus holding you. That was His Spirit breathing life into you when everything else felt lifeless. You may not have seen the miracle happen, but you were living inside it all along. Tonight, God is not giving you just another blessing. He is calling you to a deeper promise, one that brings peace to your mind, healing to your heart, and joy that no pain can take away. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. Jesus never promised that life would be free from storms, but he did promise that he would never leave you to face them alone. And even in your darkest valleys, he walked beside you, wiping every hidden tear, whispering hope when the world went silent, and waiting patiently until you were ready to open your heart again. That is the kind of love he offers, not earned, not forced, not gone when you fail, but constant, patient, and fiercely protective of your soul. There's a light in you that hell has tried to dim. There's a calling on your life that circumstances have tried to steal. But none of those efforts succeeded, because you belong to a Savior who does not lose what he died to redeem. That check scroll with your name on it is more than a symbol. It is a heavenly decree, a divine declaration that your story is not over, your purpose is still alive, and your breakthrough is already on its way. When God writes your name, he doesn't do it in pencil, ready to erase it at the first sign of failure. He writes it in light, in stars, in eternal love that no darkness can overcome. So even if you feel like you've been walking in silence, know that heaven has been singing over you all along. Even if you feel forgotten by people, you are remembered by angels. And tonight, the angels carry a scroll with your name, ready to pour out healing, peace, restoration, and joy upon your life. Don't let fear close the window that faith was meant to open. The world may not understand the battles you've faced. They may never see the nights you cried yourself to sleep or the days you faked a smile while your heart was breaking. But God saw it all, and he has prepared something so beautiful, so full of light, that when it arrives, it will make sense of every tear, every delay, and every struggle you went through. This miracle scroll is not a reward. It is a reminder. A reminder that God still moves. That Jesus still saves. That heaven is still watching. It is a sacred moment, wrapped in the stillness of God's mercy, where the unseen hands of heaven are moving across the earth, reaching for hearts that have long been waiting, longing, and believing. If you are reading this, your time has come. The scroll is not for someone else. It is for you. And it carries more than just a promise. It carries restoration, answers, healing, and a peace the world cannot give. Type Amen if you believe. There is something tender about the way God moves when no one is watching. When the world quiets down and the noise of the day fades, that's when he gently speaks. He whispers not into ears but into the deep places of the heart, the places we often hide from others. Those whispers carry the weight of his love, soft yet unshakable, kind yet mighty, gentle yet full of fire. This is the love that watches over you while you sleep. The love that fights for you while you rest. The love that never turns its face away from you, not even in your weakest hour. God is not distant. He is not watching from behind a veil of stars with arms crossed. He is near, closer than breath, kneeling beside the bed where you wept last night, walking next to you down the road no one knew you were on, holding your hand even when you thought you were walking alone. His nearness is not based on your perfection. It is grounded in his everlasting compassion. And tonight, with the final seal broken and the scroll unveiled, he wants you to remember that he still has plans for you, plans that did not expire with the pain, that were not erased by your detours, and that have not been stolen by time. This miracle scroll is not just a message of hope, it is a declaration of war against everything that ever tried to break your spirit. Every lie that said you weren't enough, every fear that kept you silent, every burden that tried to crush your joy, God saw it all, and He sent this scroll to speak a better word. He is saying, I still choose you. I still believe in you. I still love you beyond all things. There is healing being written into your story right now, in places that seem too broken to ever be whole again. Not just healing of the body, but healing of the heart, the kind of healing that makes you breathe deeply again, laugh without guilt, rest without fear. Some wounds are not visible to the world, but heaven sees them, and tonight the balm of God is being poured gently over them. The ache you've carried in silence is being answered not with more striving, but with divine stillness. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. Jesus has never asked you to carry the weight of your life alone. His invitation was always simple, always kind, come to me. He didn't say, fix yourself first. He didn't say, clean up your past. He simply said, come. And when you come to Him, weary, confused, hurting, or just tired, He doesn't push you away. He gathers you close. He knows the kind of pain this world can inflict. He walked among us not to observe our suffering, but to feel it. He wept with the grieving. He bled with the broken. He gave His life for the undeserving. So if you think your story is too messy, too complicated, too far gone, look again. Jesus never turned away the wounded. He never silenced the desperate. In fact, it was the ones who felt the most forgotten that He touched first. The same hands that healed the leper, lifted the broken, and calmed the storm, are the same hands that hold the scroll with your name tonight. Your breakthrough will not come through more worry. It will come through surrender. That's where miracles begin, not in noise, but in stillness. Not in striving, but in trust. Not in knowing all the answers, but in leaning on the one who holds every answer within Himself. There is no space too dark for His light, no sin too heavy for His grace, no path too twisted for His redemption. He is still the God who makes all things new. And He wants to start with you. Sometimes, the miracle is not the sudden change of our situation, but the sudden awareness that God has been with us all along. That realization alone can transform a heart faster than any blessing ever could. Because when you know that you're not alone, you walk differently. You speak with courage. You believe with a deeper strength. And that belief becomes the soil in which miracles grow. The heavenly scroll may not look like paper and ink. It may not fall into your hands in the way you expect. But its power is real. It is written in the Spirit and carried by angels. It's written in the kind of love that doesn't need permission to bless you. It's the kind of gift that doesn't ask if you're ready, it simply comes because heaven has decided it's time. And when heaven moves, nothing can stand in its way. There's a shift happening tonight, not around you, but within you. That quiet stirring in your chest, that warmth that feels like home, that's Him. That's the presence of the Lord reminding you that your life is not random. You are not forgotten in a crowd of souls. You are individually known. Specifically chosen. carefully loved. It is not a mistake. It is not an illusion. It is a divine appointment set in motion by a Father who has waited for this moment to wrap you in something far greater than relief, something eternal, something life-changing. That scroll is the release of your healing, the breakthrough of your soul, the deliverance your spirit has cried out for in silence. Type 222 to claim your portion. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. There's a certain peace that comes when you finally stop running, not from the world, but from yourself. When you stop hiding your wounds behind smiles, when you let the mask fall, and you allow the love of God to touch the real you. Not the you who has it all figured out, but the one who feels fragile in the quiet. The you who smiles for others but aches inside. That is the version God adores most deeply. The one who tries, even when tired. The one who hopes, even after being let down. The one who still whispers prayers, even when answers feel far away. Jesus does not love the perfect version of you that you try to become. He loves the true you, the you that weeps in the night and still wakes up with faith the size of a mustard seed. The you that keeps choosing kindness when bitterness would be easier. He knows the quiet strength it takes to keep walking through the fog, not knowing where the road ends but believing that God is guiding every step. And that belief, even if shaky, moves mountains. You've come so far. Maybe you can't see it, but heaven has been watching your journey closely. Every step you've taken away from what tried to destroy you. Every moment you chose light over darkness. Every time you forgave when it hurt, gave when you were empty, or stood back up when life knocked you down. These were not small moments in God's eyes. They were powerful declarations of faith. And tonight, the miracle scroll was released because heaven says it's time you see the fruit of your quiet battles. The scroll isn't just about one miracle, it's a flood of them. Not always dramatic, not always loud, but always holy. The miracle of restored hope. The miracle of laughter that feels real again. The miracle of peace at night when sleep comes without fear. The miracle of direction when you've been wandering for too long. These are not accidents. These are answers wrapped in divine timing. Type 555 if you believe God is working. God doesn't rush the process because He sees what we cannot. He knows what needs to heal before the blessing arrives so that it doesn't break us when it comes. Some of the waiting wasn't punishment, it was protection. Some of the closed doors weren't rejections, they were redirections. And every no was shaping you for the yes that fits perfectly in your spirit, not just your desires. The scroll you open tonight is not just for comfort, it is for your calling. There is a reason you were spared from things that others didn't survive. There's a reason the fire tried to consume you, but you came out with breath in your lungs and purpose in your heart. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to carry the light of Jesus in places where others only see darkness. And that light isn't small. It's not weak. It's been growing in you quietly, in every prayer, in every song you sang with tears in your eyes, in every moment you chose faith even when your voice trembled. Some blessings come wrapped in strength you didn't know you had. Some miracles arrive as moments of clarity that change everything. God knows exactly how to reach your heart. He knows when to speak softly, when to push gently, and when to wrap you so tightly in His presence that all your fear dissolves into peace. This is that moment. Tonight is not about performance. It is about surrender. Not in shame, but in love. Let go of the idea that you have to do everything right to be loved deeply by God. His love is not like the love you've known. It does not walk away when things get hard. It does not turn cold when you fall. His love is the kind that reaches into broken places and builds something new. It restores what was stolen. It lifts what was crushed. It gathers what was scattered and breathes it whole again. You are not just receiving a scroll, you are being seen by heaven itself. What a wonder it is to be known like this. To be remembered in the highest places when you felt the lowest. To be honored by angels while still battling thoughts that tell you you're not enough. But heaven's voice is louder. God's truth is greater. And His scroll proves it. It says, "You are mine. I have not forgotten you. I have not forsaken you. I am not finished with you." This love is the kind that doesn't demand perfection, it embraces process. Jesus never walked away from someone because they were still growing. He met people where they were, and lifted them gently to where they were meant to be. He still does that today. With you. With all of us. So rest tonight, not in the hope of what might happen, but in the assurance of what already is. You are loved, fully and endlessly. You are covered, not just in grace, but in the plans of God that are unfolding even now. And this scroll, this miracle decree, is just the beginning of what heaven is about to do in your life. The seal is broken, not just over the heavens, but over your life, your circumstances, your journey. You are no longer standing in the place of delay, but at the edge of divine release, where God begins to pour out what He has always prepared for you in love. Type 1919 to receive miracles. It's a quiet kind of power that flows from heaven into the hearts of those who have known sorrow but still dare to hope. You are one of those souls. The kind that didn't give up even when the answers didn't come. The kind that continued to pray even when the silence seemed long. And God noticed. Not a single moment passed Him by. Not one sigh or whispered prayer fell to the ground unnoticed. Your tears, those secret ones you wiped away when no one was watching, were seen. And every one of them was collected by the hands of love. An ancient 9-word code, once reserved for high-level insiders, has been uncovered. It's simple, quick, and shockingly effective at drawing money and blessings into your life. Neuroscientists confirm it stimulates the brain's receiving center, an area dormant in most people. People everywhere are calling it the 30-second miracle. Click the link in the description and comments before the authorities remove it again. This scroll is not the end of your waiting, it's the beginning of your rising. God never shows up empty-handed. When He moves, He brings restoration. But more than that, He brings presence. His presence is the healing. His nearness is the peace. His love is the miracle. And when the King of Heaven writes your name in a scroll and releases it through the final seal, it means He's about to write something new into your story. Not because you earned it. Not because you worked for it. But because you are His. You've carried so much more than others could see. You've smiled when you were aching. You've loved when you felt empty. You've been strong when you had no one to lean on. And maybe the world didn't applaud that kind of strength, but heaven did. God saw the hidden strength you didn't know you had. And tonight, He says, let me carry you now. This scroll is God's way of saying, you've waited long enough. You've walked long enough. You've wept long enough. Now is the time I step in. Now is the time I lift the burden. Now is the time I show you that miracles were never myths, they were always a heartbeat away. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to prove anything. Just receive. Just believe. Type yes to affirm. In this holy hour, something begins to unfold. The soft, sacred touch of God's hand moves through the very air around you. It's not loud. It doesn't demand your attention. But it's real. It's the feeling that something good is near. That hope isn't foolish. That peace is possible. This isn't emotional. It's spiritual. It's deeper than understanding. And it's written into your name on that scroll like a promise no one can take away. Jesus didn't come to add weight to our lives. He came to remove it. He came so we would stop trying to carry the burdens that only God was meant to hold. And this scroll is proof that He is still fulfilling that mission today. He's still rescuing the lost, still mending the broken, still lifting the weary. His love hasn't faded. His miracles haven't stopped. He still walks through the fires with us, stands in the storms beside us, and brings light into the darkest places of our lives. You might have thought you were alone all this time. But you weren't. Heaven has been walking with you in silence, waiting for this very night to open the gates wide and let the blessings flow. And the most beautiful part? You didn't have to chase it. It came for you. Because grace doesn't need to be earned, it only needs to be accepted. The scroll you hold now may be invisible to your eyes, but it is imprinted on your spirit. You can feel it if you quiet yourself for just a moment, the reassurance, the peace, the warmth of knowing that something holy is happening inside you. That is the miracle beginning to bloom. That is the healing starting to take root. And once it begins, it does not stop. God finishes what He starts. You are not too far gone. Not too late. Not too broken. The scroll proves it. Heaven is still investing in you, still speaking life over you, still calling you forward. It's time to let go of what hurt you and reach out for what God is handing you. It's not just relief, it's redemption. Not just comfort, but calling. The ache in your chest that you thought would never ease? He's healing that. The confusion that's clouded your decisions? He's clearing it. The silence that made you question if he heard you? He's answering it, not just with words, but with the full weight of his love. You are seen. You are known. You are chosen. There's a shift happening now, not around you but inside of you. It's the gentle realignment of your soul returning to rest in the arms of the Father. The scroll is the invitation. The presence is the answer. And your faith is the key that unlocks it all. The miracle isn't coming. It's already here. It's in the peace that's settling in your spirit right now. It's in the clarity that begins to dawn. It's in the strength that suddenly fills the places that felt hollow. This is what happens when heaven breaks open a final seal, not just to show you something, but to transform you into someone even more radiant, more whole, more free. Not yet. His angels are still holding it in reverent silence, waiting, watching, ready to place it into your spirit the moment your heart says, I believe. This scroll is not merely symbolic, it is sacred, it is living, and it is moving right now into the places of your life that you thought were too far gone to ever feel light again. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. There is something incredibly tender about the way God loves you. It's not the loud kind of love the world often demands, not flashy or dramatic, but a love so steady, so deeply rooted in truth, that it holds you together when everything else falls apart. His love shows up in silence. In the moments when you're too tired to pray, when your voice fails you, when your tears are the only prayers you have left, he understands all of it. Jesus never needed eloquence to respond. He never asked for perfect words. He simply looked at the heart, and when your heart aches, he comes running. You may not have realized how many times you've been protected. There were battles you didn't even know were being fought in the background, angels dispatched on your behalf while you slept, chaos that was stopped before it ever reached your doorstep. You may have felt like your prayers disappeared into the void, but God heard every one. And tonight, he answers them not just with words, but with action. The scroll is the answer to years of believing in the dark, of choosing to keep walking when your legs felt too weak, of trusting without knowing. A hidden 9-word prayer rediscovered in a sealed government document is now changing everything for those who dare to use it. It activates your brain's forgotten abundance channel, helping you manifest prosperity in ways you've never seen before. The results: cleared debts, growing savings, sudden opportunities, speak for themselves. Don't wait until this vanishes. Click the link before it's erased from the internet. This is not just a spiritual event, it's a divine shift. Something in the unseen realm has moved, and your name has been whispered through the halls of heaven. It's being spoken with honor, not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful. You didn't give up. You didn't let go. You held on when everything told you to stop hoping. That kind of faith, no matter how quiet, moves mountains in heaven. God sees what people don't. He values what others miss. And now, he is responding. You are not being overlooked. You are being lifted. That ache that follows you like a shadow? He's healing that. Not with temporary relief, but with a deep, lasting peace that only heaven can create. It's not just peace for the moment, it's peace that restores everything from the inside out. Peace that finds you in the middle of your ordinary life and begins to make everything look different. Brighter. Softer. Lighter. Type 2020 to claim miracles. Some miracles don't come as thunderclaps or grand moments. Some come in the form of breath, of clarity, of peace where there was chaos, of joy in the middle of grief. Sometimes the greatest miracle is the one that happens within you. The scroll God has released isn't just changing your situation, it's awakening something eternal in your spirit. It's reminding you of who you are, who you've always been, a child of God, wrapped in the love of Christ, carried by grace that cannot be earned and never runs out. There is nothing God cannot redeem. No story too complicated. No mistake too heavy. His mercy runs deeper than every failure, and His love covers what shame tries to expose. You are not your worst moments. You are not your broken chapters. You are the one He came to save. The one He chose to love before you even knew how to speak His name. You are not disqualified. You are called. And tonight, the scroll you've been handed is your confirmation. Jesus never promised ease, but He did promise presence. And tonight, His presence is closer than it's ever been. Not because He moved, but because your heart is opening in ways it hasn't before. You are beginning to see not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. You are beginning to remember that you were never meant to carry all this alone. He wants to carry it with you. He wants to walk with you, not just in the sacred places, but in the ordinary ones, too. The kitchen, the hospital room, the job you're trying to keep, the relationship you're trying to repair. He is in all of it. Fully. Lovingly. Powerfully. This scroll was sent not only to bless you, but to remind you that you are already blessed. That even in your waiting, He was working. That even in your silence, He was speaking. That even when you felt lost, He had already written the way home. The miracle is already unfolding. It may not look how you expected, but it is exactly what your soul needs. Tonight, let yourself rest. Rest not because everything is perfect, but because everything is in God's hands. Let go of the grip you've had on outcomes, and open your heart to the gift that's been delivered. You don't have to chase the scroll. It's already here. You don't have to strive for your name to be worthy. It already is. God is not a distant idea. He is the breath in your lungs, the warmth in your chest, the calm in your spirit. He is reaching for you, not because you've done everything right, but because He delights in calling you His. That kind of love changes everything. It breaks chains. It lifts burdens. It rebuilds what was torn down. And that's what is beginning for you, right now. The final seal that God broke was not just an event, it was a turning point, a sacred moment designed by eternity to remind you that He still writes your story, and what He writes cannot be undone. Heaven is not just watching over you, it is moving in your favor, even now. Type Amen if you believe. You have made it through more than anyone knows. There were nights when sleep escaped you and all you could do was stare into the dark, wondering if anyone saw the weight you were carrying. There were days when you smiled for the world but felt empty inside. There were seasons where you walked through storms without a single hand to hold. But even then, you were not alone. The angels walked with you. Jesus stood beside you. And God wrote your name across the sky, not in sorrow, but in hope. God didn't forget you. He didn't skip over you. He was preparing the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect release. And now, the scroll is open. The words on it are not generic promises, they are specific to you, to your life, to your healing, to your future. What heaven holds for you is not delayed any longer. It is not locked away. It has been released with intentional love and divine timing. This moment is sacred. Don't rush past it. Let your heart absorb the truth. God still has more for you. You haven't missed your chance. You haven't wasted too much time. You haven't failed beyond repair. What you've walked through was not the end, but the shaping. The miracle scroll didn't forget your name. It waited for the moment your soul was ready to receive what your heart had longed for all along. And now, it is here. Type 222 if you're ready to receive. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. There is something powerful about being seen. Truly seen. And that's exactly what this scroll represents. It says, you are seen by heaven. Not just your efforts or your dreams, but your pain, your longings, your silent cries in the night. Every part of you has been witnessed by the God who formed you, and instead of turning away, He came closer. He did not withdraw when you were broken. He leaned in. He did not give up when you doubted. He held you tighter. God is not keeping score the way the world does. He is keeping record of every time you chose love over fear, hope over despair, mercy over bitterness. And He has not been idle. He's been working in the silence, growing the roots of a blessing so deep it could not be shaken by storms. That's what this scroll carries. Not surface-level relief, but deep, life-altering, soul-restoring miracles. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that the breakthrough was only for others. That maybe you weren't spiritual enough, strong enough, faithful enough. But God's love doesn't operate on human measurement. His favor is not rationed. His blessings are not earned, they're given through grace. And grace says, even now. Even you. Especially you. You haven't missed anything. What's meant for you has been waiting for you. Not in punishment, but in preparation. The scroll didn't forget your name. It carried it, protected it, kept it shining until you were ready to receive it without fear. Now, the angels who guarded it bring it to your heart with gentle hands, whispering, it's time. This is not just about material blessings. This is about healing in places you thought would always hurt. About doors opening that were shut so long you forgot they were even there. About being able to breathe again, not just physically, but spiritually. Peace is coming. Joy is coming. Restoration is coming. And not because you earned it, but because God promised it. Jesus doesn't turn away from the weary. He kneels beside them. He sits in the ashes with the broken-hearted. He wraps his arms around the abandoned and calls them his own. If you've ever felt too lost to be found, too flawed to be chosen, too tired to be lifted, this scroll is for you. It is heaven's reminder that nothing is beyond his reach, and no one is beyond his love. There are prayers you whispered years ago that you forgot, but God didn't. He tucked them away, safe in his care, waiting for this appointed time to begin answering them one by one. Slowly, gently, and perfectly. The scroll in the hands of the angels carries your name and every single one of those prayers. None of them were wasted. None of them were in vain. They were seeds. And now, the rain is falling. Your spirit may not know how to feel right now. That's okay. You don't have to understand it all to receive it. You only need to believe that the one who made you has never stopped watching over you. You only need to trust that what feels unfamiliar now is actually the beginning of something you've been waiting for. Let your heart open just enough to let the light in. Let this be the moment you stop striving and start resting in the truth that God's love is bigger than anything that's come against you. Let this be the night you stop wondering if you're enough, and start remembering that Jesus was always more than enough for both of you. This is not the end of a message. It's the unfolding of a miracle. God hasn't closed the heavens yet. His mercy is still pouring out. His angels are still moving. His Spirit is still whispering softly to your soul, "Stay close. Something beautiful is beginning." Type 1111 if you trust in God. You may not feel it yet, but something has already shifted. Not outside of you, but inside, where the Spirit of God speaks without sound. Sometimes the loudest miracles are the ones that happen silently in the depths of the soul, where fears used to live and doubt once echoed. There is a new stillness there now. A warmth. A peace that cannot be explained, only felt. That's what happens when the Creator of the universe writes your name in glory and says, "You are mine." There is a calmness rising within you that has nothing to do with your circumstances and everything to do with who holds your heart. The world may look the same, but the atmosphere around your life is different now. The battle you've been fighting is not just yours anymore. It never really was. God has stepped in. He has taken it personally. Every burden you tried to carry alone is being lifted. Every tear you held back is being answered. Every hidden place in your spirit where you've longed to feel whole again is being touched by something holy. Amen.